Hey there, everybody, and welcome into episode 8 of Let's Talk About. Today's episode is going to be all about the Legend of Heroes series. Now, the thumbnail here is only showing the latest entry, Beyond the Horizon. I couldn't really find a good picture online that showed every single game the series there in a concise way. So I figured let's just roll with the latest entry. I'll be talking about it anyhow as we go along, but this video will of course talk about the entire Trail series. This series, I absolutely adore it with every fiber of my being. I've already been a fan. I've been playing the games now for going on 11 years now, actually. I first played. Well, first off, for those who maybe don't know about the Trail series, let me give as brief a summary as possible before I get into the meat of the video, just so we can all have full context there. So the Legend of Heroes series, the Trails sub-series, is a long-running series of RPGs that take place on the continent of Zemuria, with each arc of the series taking place in different parts of the entire continent there. So we have the three Trails in the Sky games: Sky First Chapter, Second Chapter, and Sky the Third. They all take place in the earliest part of the series timeline in 1202, in the southern area of the continent known as Liberl. We have the Crossbell duology, that's Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure. They take place to the northeast, kind of like central eastern parts of Zemuria, in the Crossbell region, that is between two big power nations of Erebonia to its west and Calvert to its east. Those two have been fighting over Crossbell to have it be a part of their nation for quite a few years, and we get to see that quite a bit throughout a lot of the games. I'll try not to go into spoiler territory for those who haven't played the games there, but I do want to at least give a very broad idea of what the series is all about and all that stuff there. But yeah, those take place shortly, I say shortly, a little while after the Sky arc there. That takes place in the year 1204. And Zero and Azure also coincide with Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2. They take place, some of the events in Cold Steel 1 also, they take place at the same time as Zero, and then the same thing with Azure and Cold Steel 2. All in 1204. I forget the finer details of what the overlap is, as when like later events in Azure, where are they taking place, as opposed to like an earlier point in Cold Steel 2 and like vice versa there, right? But yeah, those all kind of coincide there. But Zero and Azure did come out first. Then yeah, followed by Cold Steel 1 and 2. And then, of course, you have the whole Trails of Cold Steel arc, my personal favorite at that. That being Cold Steel 1, Cold Steel 2, 3, and 4. And then Trails into Reverie that followed that is kind of like an epilogue of sorts for Cold Steel. It could almost be like Cold Steel 5, more or less. It's also a huge build-up into the following arc, which is the arc we're on right now, the Calvert arc. So we have Trails Through Daybreak 1 and 2, and then our latest entry, Beyond the Horizon, is essentially Daybreak 3. It also takes place in Calvert. And to my knowledge also is really like the series' halfway point. But the crazy thing is too, with all these games, I believe Beyond the Horizon is the 11th mainline game in the series. We've only been to, well, I say been, we've only really covered like maybe half of the entire continent of the entire world of Zemuria. There's still so much more to the east that hasn't really been covered yet, and also cities throughout the world otherwise that we haven't really been to, that you do hear about a lot throughout the series. And it's like, oh cool, I would love to go there someday. So I'm hoping like in later entries, we finally will start cracking into more of those. But yeah, Beyond the Horizon is the most recent entry that just came out on the 15th of January. I've been playing through that every single day since launch. I only just started Act 3, and I am almost 70 hours in. This is a long-ass game, and I've been loving every single second of it. I've heard it's like the absolute peak Trails in so many ways. I can't wait to experience everything else the game has to offer. Shit's been crazy so far. Of course, I won't spoil any fine details there. I want to talk about that more, but I feel like I'll probably do a whole other video about this just beyond the horizon when I'm done with the game. I don't know when that'll be because I feel like this is going to be a 100-hour playthrough initially, and this is my first playthrough, of course. So, a 100-hour first playthrough is pretty insane, but I'm more than getting my money's worth, and for sure in that case. So, moving on to my personal history with when I play the games and such. I've probably gone over this before in past videos, but I kind of wanted to just have a more concise Trails video here. So I originally started with Sky First Chapter. Played it on PC, I forget when exactly. I played it for a real little bit, and then didn't really play much more actually. I couldn't tell you why. It wasn't until I got into playing it on my PS Vita via the PSN store. I just bought it digitally from the store there, the PSP library there. This would have been late 2015. I was living in California at the time, actually. And I absolutely adored the game once I really got into it. Probably put in, I'd say, about 50 or 60 hours into my first playthrough. And then I was immediately able to jump into Sky's second chapter right afterwards. It was already out on the PSN, for the PSP at the time. So I was able just to pick that up right away and dive right in, which I am forever happy about, because originally, when first chapter came out on the PSP in, what year did that come out? Was it 2011? I think. I don't recall for sure. But there was a 4-year gap from when first chapter came out until second chapter came out. The wait for that, I only know just from like hearsay and such. I didn't experience it myself. That would have been absolutely agonizing to wait that long for a second chapter. And it was so much worth the wait. It's an incredible game, and I know obviously I'm LPing it right now. We haven't gotten to the good stuff yet. The really good stuff, I should say. And second chapter, still for a lot of people, is their favorite Trails game of all time, and I can't wait to fully experience it all over again. And shortly thereafter, once I beat second chapter, it worked out quite nicely that Trails of Cold Steel came out. It was around also December 2015 for PS3 and PS Vita. So I actually got that for my birthday. My dad flew out to visit for my birthday. He stayed at our place for about a week. And we went up to the GameStop up the road from our place, and they had the Lionheart edition of Cold Steel on the PS Vita. I only just saw it on... I forgot how I even heard about the game initially. Yeah, I just saw it on a little side shelf end cap, I remember. And it was just a standard, like, generic blue and white GameStop box. I had brought it up to the counter. It said Lionheart edition on it. So they actually had to grab the full big silver case from their back room or the back counter or whatever. And that was a tremendous birthday present. Cold Steel 1 is still my favorite Trails game out of all of them. Now, of course, I love the entire like every single entry in the series, of course. But yeah, Cold Steel 1 is a truly incredible special game to me, and it always will be. Like, it's up there. It's crazy for some people to hear this. It usurped Lunar 2 as my all-time favorite game. And I still mean that today. And Lunar 2 held that title for quite a few years. That would have been 10 plus years that Lunar 2 was my favorite game of all time. Cold Steel 1 is just that special. It still is today. It always will be. And of course, yeah, again, played that through on the Vita. My first playthrough of that was probably also about 70 hours or so. These are beefy games if you haven't already noticed. And I just remember my jaw was just like on the floor at the end of Cold Steel 1. It wasn't until, let's see, Cold Steel 2 was next. When did I get that? We moved back to Pennsylvania, I think summer-ish of 2016. I think sometime in August, I think. And I believe Cold Steel 2 came out sometime in the fall, I want to say, for PS3 and Vita. I'm pretty sure I got it for the Vita as well, because I had, of course, you can carry over your save data for bonuses from Cold Steel 1 to 2. If you're on the same platform, if you have your save file from Vita to Vita or PS3 to PS3, whatever. So yeah, I went with Vita again. There also, I love portable gaming, so that was an easy call for me. Loved Cold Steel 2 as well. Then we had quite a long wait until Cold Steel 3. We had, what was it, almost a 3-year wait until Cold Steel 3. That was on a PS4 and PC and all that. I even remember I did a live stream of the Cold Steel 3 demo right when it launched, actually. I loved the new engine, the new characters, the updates to the battle system, the more fluid motion outside, the free motion of running on the field and all that. Returning characters, new characters. Cold Steel 3 was insanely good. Also has some of my favorite tracks in the entire series as well. You also may have noticed I skipped over Zero and Azure. I didn't play them when they first came out. They were Japan exclusive for the PSP for the longest time, and we only got them in the States in 2024. So I'll be covering those after the Cold Steel arc there, even though, of course, Zero and Azure technically come first, but I didn't want to jump around too much there. So Cold Steel 3, then Cold Steel 4 was, I think, about a year after that, actually, in 2020. I actually have the collector's edition for that. It's displayed on our big gaming shelf we have in our den here at our place. Also loved that. And then 2024 was a crazy good year for Trails. We got Trails from Zero in 2024, early 2024. And then actually, initially, they were going to do Azure first in the summer and then Reverie later on. But Reverie actually got moved up to the summer, and Azure was essentially pushed back to the fall. But they swapped places essentially there. And that was the first time we in the U.S. were able to officially play Zero and Azure in the States. Now, of course, there was a fan translation for the PSP for both Zero and Azure way back when you could have easily played there as well. That translation it's kind of infamous from what I've heard. I think it's still pretty fairly solid. I have played a little bit of Zero on the PSP to see that firsthand. But yeah, my first real full playthroughs of Zero and Azure were the official, not just kind of HD remasters, but it's official localizations on the. I actually got them for the Switch, funnily enough. I wanted handheld gaming, of course. I could have done PS4 remote play on something probably back then, but I went with the Switch in this case for both. And I think for me personally, I didn't really connect with Zero and Azure as much as I did for the Sky series and the Cold Steel series. And I think that's because the voices were in Japanese. Now, of course, I understand why. It would have added so much more dev time and all that to record all of those lines for both games in English. That would have pushed back their launches in the States by quite a bit, I'm sure. But I've been hearing rumblings that Falcom, I think actually they've already even officially said so, that they would like to do remakes for not only Sky the Third, but also Zero and Azure. I would absolutely love that because I love the characters in Zero and Azure for sure. But it didn't, again, connect to them as much because this is the Japanese voice lines and all that there. Just obviously, me being an English speaker, they would have hit harder and hit home so much more. But now, since their official original PSP release, they all the characters now that were first seen in Crossbell, they are English voiced now. So obviously Randy, Lloyd, Ellie, Tio, Chief Sergey, everybody out there now has English VAs. So if they were to do Zero and Azure remakes a la the Sky first and second chapter remakes, those would be incredible. Seeing Crossbell and the new engine that they're using for second chapter and first chapter, absolutely mind-blowing in so many ways. That would make Crossbell and Zero and Azure as a whole so much better. And they're already both amazing games as is. This would be taking Peak and putting like 15 levels higher. Because they're both phenomenal games. I'm actually due for a replay of them both. I did beat them once each, and I do have New Game Plus data already made, and I have a save file at the very beginning of each game. So whenever I do replay them, and I probably will after Beyond the Horizon, I will get back to doing those. I'll dust off my Switch and get on that like ASAP. But anyway, I was getting a little off track there. Reverie also, well, actually, no, I was still on track. Zero was first in 2024. Then we got Trails into Reverie that same year in the summer. That's also a lot of people's favorite game as well. Essentially caps off the Cold Steel arc. You have like a bajillion playable characters from every arc leading up to the point there. In the Reverie Corridor, it was insanely fantastic. Also, the game is beautiful. The new engine they use for that is fantastic over the all the previous ones. And then, of course, Azure after that, late 2024. So getting 3 whole Trails games in 1 year is insane. What's even more insane is that now with Beyond the Horizon, the US is finally fully caught up with Japan on Trails games. We had always been so far behind Japan, like for the longest time, and also to Falcom's credit, and Nisa's as well, who have took over publishing the games over at Seed. They have been a lot better with getting the games out more quickly after Japan's release. So it's only been like usually about a year or so, year and a half or 2 tops that we get a new Trails game after Japan. And now with Beyond the Horizon, we are fully caught up because it only came out in Japan. I think late 2024. I forget when exactly. It wasn't that long ago. But it's just like we're finally caught up with Japan with the Trails games. Just like it's just crazy to think about. After all this time, we're fully caught up, and they want to keep doing worldwide releases now for like all the upcoming Trails games. They did that with Sky First Chapter, the remake, I believe. I think Beyond the Horizon was the same as well. And then coming up here, I don't think they've announced an official release date yet, but we know that the second chapter remake will be out by September of this year, which that's going to be, I'm not prepared for that at all. Emotionally, physically, mentally, anything else, I am just not. It's going to be just incredible. It's going to be peach cinema, to say the least. But yeah, Beyond the Horizon, like 70 hours in the first playthrough, and I feel like I am nowhere near done with the game, which I am completely fine with. I love that the series is a slow burner, like every game pretty much is, especially the first game of each arc. Now, to some people, that can be a detriment because they want to get into the action like right away, and I, of course, totally get that. But like the way I see it, that's one of Trails' biggest strengths, the fact that it's a slow burner. You take the time to get invested into the world, the characters, like each city you go to, all the little details like that. Like FC really started that, like the whole like kind of casual, kind of slice of life essentially, sort of game there. Where like you're just starting out, meeting all the characters there. You're like, oh, we have to. I won't spoil much there. But like each chapter builds into the next one, and then the tensions get higher and higher. There's more and more dire straits as you go along, and then just the first chapter ending is incredible still. It ruins so many people to this day, and it always will, especially now in the remake. It's just like I just love that slow burn. Like I just sit back and relax. I don't need to rush through things. I talk to all the NPCs multiple times over, which is very rare to do for RPGs. I feel like because the NPCs and Trails are just so memorable. Like you want to care about them. You go out of your way to talk to somebody who started up a bakery, and then you come back and like, oh, my bakery's been a huge success, and you are fucking cheering for them. What other games can say that? Like, it's incredible. Like the world building that Falcom has with every single entry, how each thing builds into the next, all the series callbacks, in newer games from all the older games there. And of course, the experience is so much more enriched if you've played through all the other games prior to the new entries there, which is obviously a very tall order for some people. I don't want to really get into that. That's a whole big thing. I will say this for my own 2 cents. The experience is truly, truly enriched if you take the time to play through every single game. If you can. If you don't want to, that's totally cool. I respect that. If you want to just jump into a new game right away, by all means, I'm not going to stop you. I don't want to gatekeep. I hate gatekeeping. I hate when other people gatekeep. I don't want to do it. Okay, but moving on. Let's see. So also, I'm kind of hoping that the logo here I'm showing isn't spoilery. I can already, I know one detail on there that could be for some. If so, I do apologize for that. Hopefully, it's not too big of a deal. But I did want to shift now for the series here, talking about like what all I liked about the series, which is pretty much damn near everything. And I don't mean that like speaking hyperbole or anything. Like I legitimately love 99% of what Trails does. Like it has some of the best characters I've ever seen in an RPG. Estelle and Reen come to mind immediately as two of my favorite characters of all time, seriously. You have a wonderful supporting cast. I almost said Joshua in supporting, but he's not supporting, he's a main character. Like the first chapter. Shara, Chloe, Agate, Tita, Zin. Who am I forgetting? There's an eighth. Who am I forgetting? Why am I dumb? Did I say Tita? Joshua and Estelle, Shara, Chloe, Agate, Tita, Zin, Olivier. Yeah, okay. They are a tremendous cast. The banter they have with one another is sublime, especially in the first chapter remake. Their growth, all their character growth is incredible, especially Estelle and Joshua's, especially Estelle. Her character arc from FC to SC is just one of the best ever. And I won't delve into that too much. I don't want to, again, trying to avoid spoilers whenever I can. But yeah, she is a fan favorite to this day, and she always will be. Though really every main character is fantastic. Estelle, Lloyd, Reen, Van, Kevin. Can I also just say I am so glad that Kevin is back in Beyond the Horizon. We haven't seen his green ass since second chapter. It's been 10 games he hasn't been around in. Although he was... Never mind. Yeah, I'm just so glad he's back. He's been a huge fan favorite there as well. He is so badass in Beyond the Horizon. I'm also super glad that Reen is back. He is my favorite character in the entire series, bar none. His whole arc from CS1 to 4 and Reverie and beyond is immaculate. It really is. Yeah, the world building also of Trails, how all the NPCs give so much detail to the world itself. They're also just everyday people living their normal everyday lives, right? But they just bring so much to each area you're in, from Liberl to Crossbell to Erebonia to Calvard. Like the NPCs they're kind of like the backbone of the world in a sense there. And going back to an earlier point, how like you want to go out of your way to talk to them just because you want to talk to them, not because like, oh, you have a quest for me, so I have to talk to you. No, you go out of your way to talk to every single NPC in every town you go to, multiple times over at that. Not because of a quest, but because you want to. Also, like the music, my God, there's so many memorable tracks throughout the entire series. Sophisticated Fights from first chapter, Silver Will, one of the best songs ever created, period. I cannot wait to hear that in the remake as well. The Enforcers track from SC, every single song in Cold Steel 1. Like, legitimately, the whole soundtrack is incredible. Great Power, Exceed, Believe, Tile Length of Arcus. Just go pull up the OST, like the entire thing on YouTube, and just listen to the entire thing and thank me later. You're welcome. There's just insanely cool boss themes also in CS3, CS4, Reverie, and beyond. There is one little, I don't want to get into the negatives, although you can't have good without the bad. All the fan servicey hot tub crap that they do, and also Angelica being a huge creep in like every game pretty much, and Falcom leans into that a little too much. Yeah, I don't like that. That's like one of the very, very, very few things I don't like. Thankfully, they've gotten away from that in later entries for the most part. But yeah, um, I do also side note. I have a little notepad here for things to talk about for topics and such. There, another one being favorite characters. Legitimately, every single person to ever breathe in the series, be it playable character, non-playable character, your enemies. They are some of the coolest villains ever. But yeah, like I said, oh yeah, my personal favorites. I mean, all the main characters there, of course. Like I said, yeah, Estelle, Reen, Van, Kevin, Lloyd. I wish Estelle could have been in Daybreak and Beyond. Same with Joshua. I don't actually know what they're up to at that time. Because he would have said so, what they're up to in Reverie. Um, and I feel like they would have said what they're going to be doing after that. So I have no clue what they're actually up to. I don't remember if they said or not there. But yeah, I do want to wrap up here with Beyond the Horizon a little bit. It's getting so real. Like I can I'm trying to think what can I say without spoilers because it's the game is still so new and a lot of people probably haven't even finished it yet. Um, I can I want to give like a very broad scope of what's going on in game. Trails in space. Yeah, we're going to space in a fucking Trails game. If you would have told that to anyone, even like 5 years ago, so like the Cold Steel arc there, because the game Horizon takes place in 1209 to clarify, summer of 1209. Um, Even 5 years ago, so the Cold Steel arc, or the Crossbow arc there as well, telling Lloyd and Reen, hey, in 5 years we're going to space. They'd be like, I beg you a pardon? But yeah, it's apparently happening. So much money is being thrown into this project, and there's so much going on in, around, above, below, in between, every little crevice, just everywhere. But for how long I've been playing so far, I still have no fucking idea what's going on for like 80% ish of it. I can make my guesses, of course. I've been obviously paying attention to see what's going on there. They are staying so hush hush about what's going on. Even the main cast has no idea really what's fully going on. And even a lot of the people that are actually involved don't know what's going on. It's on a very, very, very hush hush basis, like a need to know basis. But when things finally start unfurling and unfolding, I just know that my jaw will be agape the entire time. I don't know how much longer I have to go to beat the game. How many acts are there? Because I'm only on Act 3 right now. I just started that earlier tonight, as in Saturday. This is going up Sunday, of course, like normal. Yeah, last I played Sunday, I just wrapped up Act 2. And I will say, also, as a side note, Van's routes have been so much longer than the other two, that being Kevin and Reen. So essentially is like a Daybreak 3, but I'm totally cool with that because Daybreak 1 and 2 are awesome. So I also love the Arkwright Solutions crew, so I'm all for that. But oh my god, Kevin's group is the funniest group assembled ever. They are so good together. I won't spoil who's all in it. Um, and yeah, there's so much stuff going on with Reen's group there as well. Um, it's just such a great game. I'm so glad it's finally out. It was actually supposed to be out a couple months back, and I think November of last year, or maybe December, but it got pushed back to mid-January of this year. Did I just do I give it more polish there and such? Yeah, it's been tremendous. The combat has been upgraded even still from Daybreak 1 and 2. The turn-based and action-based combat hybrid there is just phenomenal to play. It's so much fun. The new toys they give you to play around with. Having so many characters also to play around with, all their various styles are just so fun to mess around with too. Even though I'm very guilty of only using Van, Kevin, and Reen because they're the MCs, so you kind of have to. Well, I mean, you're not really forced to by any means, but like, it just feels weird not to play as them because to me they're the most fun to play as. But I mean, that's just me, of course. There, to be clear. Um, I think that's about it. This series, yeah, I love to death. I've been talking about it on BlueSky and all my discords there. Um, I've been trying to get people into the series there as well. Maybe this video can get even more people into the series. All the games are available on PC via Steam, and they don't really need that demanding of PCs to run. I will say that like First Chapter Remake and Beyond the Horizon definitely are the most demanding games out of everything so far, and to a lesser extent Daybreak 1 and 2 as well. But really, any decently powered PC will be able to run these games no problem. So if you like RPGs that have an over-expanding story, tremendously well-written characters, super fun gameplay systems, and oh my god, the best narrative I've ever seen that's still being sublimely written across so many entries here, Trails is for you. I don't know if they're all on sale right now or not. They tend to go on sale pretty often. But yeah, they're available on Steam, on PS4, PS5, Switch, so pretty much everything out there. I don't know why they're not on Xbox. I don't know if Falcom ever wants to put them on Xbox. That'd be super cool though, so they have more RPGs to play. It also gets the games out to a wider audience of people, which is never a bad thing in my opinion. Oh yeah, also one more thing before I do wrap up. If you are new to the series, the Sky First Chapter Remake is the absolute best place to start, in my opinion. Just throwing that out there. With all that said, guys, I'm gonna make another Trails video at some point here because I love the series so goddamn much, and I will do a video just for Beyond the Horizon whenever I finish that. I don't know when. It won't already be by next Sunday. I also have a topic in mind for that video already for the next Let's Talk About show episode, whatever. So it might be the week after. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, with all that said, guys, again, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.